Hello and welcome to a new series. We're going to be playing the A Clash of Kings mod in Mountain Blade. So, what is Mountain Blade? Mountain Blade is a game where you control one person in a medieval style setting. You can go be a merchant, you can be a sellsword, you can make your own mercenary band, you can have your own lands, you can do all sorts of cool stuff. It's kind of a role-playing style experience. And A Clash of Kings mod makes it sets the game in the Game of Thrones universe. So it seems very, very cool. It's almost like a Crusader Kings-esque thing where you're playing a singular person, like you're trying to, but you control a whole lot more. While Crusader Kings is kind of from the political style side of things, this one you're actually controlling yourself. You're controlling the battles. You're controlling the You're controlling where you go specifically. You're walking around the world. You're talking to people. I think that's a really cool idea, and we're going to play some of it. It's also a heavily requested game, so this has been long waiting on the channel, and it seemed like we had a good slot to fit it in. So I put about 5 or 6 hours into this so far, so I know the basics of the game, but if there's anything that I missed or anything that I've forgotten, please feel free to leave me a thing in the comments saying what I should be doing, because I'm just trying to learn the game a little bit. So, let's start a new game. You go for a stroll in the streets of your hometown when you hear that King Robert has been gored to death by a large boar. The fishmonger that you're speaking with tells you that Eddard Stark, the Hand of the King, tried to usurp the throne. But the valiant King Joffrey's advisors managed to foil his plot, and peace has surely been restored. However, a few days later, a weary traveller arrives with more news. Following the imprisonment of Lord Stark, the Northern Lords marched south to defeat the Lannisters and free their liege. They ambushed the army of the Kingslayer, routed his forces, and captured Sir Jaime, after which they broke the siege of Riverrun. All of a sudden, the odds seem to be turning against Joffrey, and his name is no longer shouted in the streets. Making a quick decision, you decide to strike out, hurriedly selling off your meagre possessions to a fat innkeeper, and packing only the most essential. You finally feel like you control your own destiny, and that whatever course you take, great deeds await you. So, this is the start of the character creation side of things, and we have a lot of different things that we can choose. So, gender, we're going to play a male for just now. Your father was, what do we want our background to be? So, I kind of want to be a, I want to maybe make up our own little mercenary company. I want to do odd jobs for people. I want to gather together a kind of group of people who can back aside if we want to in a war. I think that if our father was a man-at-arms, that would make a lot of sense. And then we spent our early life as, well, if we wanted to be, our father to be a man-at-arms and us to go into being like a sellsword or something, I don't know, a novice, maybe, a noble in trade, a courtier, maybe a courtier, or a page at nobleman's court also makes a bit of sense. How about just a courtier? That works alright. And then we became a squire, would definitely be a good idea. A sellsword would fit in with what we're looking for, a sellsword. Then we went out to adventure for, I think, money and power maybe. That could be a good idea. That could be good. That kind of fits in with what we're looking for. It does give you a whole bunch of stat changes for your background, but I prefer to just pick them based on what kind of character we want to play in the future, and hopefully the stat changes will fit into that. So, you were born years ago. Your father was a man-at-arms. He served old Lord Went as a guardsman. Boring and predictable life. You started to learn about the world almost as soon as you could walk and talk. You spent your early life as a courtier. As a boy growing out of childhood, you spent much of your life at the court of the new Lord Went, inserting yourself into the tightly knit circles of nobility. With the years, you became more and more involved with the politics, and intrigue demanded of a high-born man. You could not afford to remain a stranger to backstabbing and gossip, even if you wanted to. Then, as a young adult, life changes as it always does. You became a sellsword. You signed on with a sellsword company and travelled far from your home. The life you found was rough and ready, marching to the beat of strange drums and learning unusual ways of fighting. There were men who taught you how to wield any weapon you desired, and plenty of battles to hone your skills. You were one of the charmed few who survived through every campaign in which you marched. Well, I hope that we survived, otherwise this is going to be a very odd playthrough. But soon, everything changed, and you decided to strike out on your own as an adventurer. What made you take this decision was lust for money and power. Only you knew exactly what caused you to give up your old life and become an adventurer. To everyone else, it's clear that you're now motivated solely by personal gain. You want to be rich, powerful, respected, feared. You want to be one whom the others hurry to obey. You want people to know your name and tremble whenever it is spoken. You want everything, and you won't let anyone stop you from having it. As a common man, you may face some difficulties establishing yourself as an equal among the great lords. Okay. So, saving policy. I want to save pretty much all the time, so I don't forget. Okay, we have to select a name. What are we going to call ourselves? Well, I think I've ran out of different acronyms for my username, so let's just go for something like, I don't know. We could call ourselves William. There we go. That's a nice name. That'll fit. Then, let's choose some attributes. Now, the attributes, skills, and proficiencies all provide different sort of benefits to you. For instance, because of our background, we got 4 points in Iron Flesh. Iron Flesh gives you hit points, increases your hit points by 2 for each one that you have. But it is based off strength, and if I want to raise it to any more than 4, I would have to raise my strength up to 15, because you're only allowed to raise things up to a third of that stat that it's associated with. So, if I was to go to agility, and if I was to look at shield here, you'll see that it's 0, but our agility is 6, so we'd be able to raise it up 2. I hope that makes some sense to you. And then proficiencies are just kind of general how good you are with weapons. Now, what do we want to use as our main kind of stuff? So strength gives us kind of general power attacks. Agility gives us shield, athletics, riding, horse, archery, and looting. That could be good. Also, weapon master. So each point also gives us 5 weapon points, which should help out in us being good with a lot of different weapons if we want to. Intelligence gives us extra skill points, which can definitely be useful. Also gives us trainer, tracking, tactics, pathfinding, spotting, inventory management, wound treatment, surgery, first aid, engineering, and persuasion. All of which could be interesting. And charisma, which increases our party size limit by 1. We can't raise prisoner management, leadership, or trade if we don't have charisma. I kind of want to be... I think we'll maybe go for an agility character. And I assume, looking at that, we'll use a bow and a shield. We don't necessarily have to use a bow, but we will use a bow, probably, and a shield. That makes sense. So, we'll put some of our points into agility. Now, you only really want to go up to multiples of 3, because that's where you get your main benefits. So, we're going to put 1 in charisma as well, I think. And we'll kind of go charisma, agility as our main 2 stats. It's alright that we have int up a little bit, because int gives us just general kind of useful stuff. It gives us skill points. So what do we want to raise first? Weapon master. Let's see what it does. Weapon master makes it easier to learn weapon proficiencies and increases the limit. That's alright. We don't need to really worry about that too much. Shield reduces damage to shield, improves shield speed and coverage. Could be good. Athletics improves your running speed and decreases the chance you'll stumble. Could be very useful for kind of ducking in and out of combat. What are the other ones we got? Horse archery and riding. Probably not that useful as we don't start with a horse. And looting. Increase the amount of loot obtained. I don't think we need that either, necessarily. So I think we'll go into a little bit of athletics and a little bit of shield. Is there anything from charisma we want? Maybe we want first aid. Which means that we heal some of our hit points after a mission, or surgery, which gives us a chance for party members not to die. Could be useful, don't think we need it necessarily. Wound treatment, party healing speed is increased by 20% per level of the skill. Could be very useful if we get into some trouble. Persuasion, hell, that could be useful. That kind of helps us with with convincing people to do things for us. Other things we get charisma. Leadership increases the number of troops you can command. Maybe we'll put a couple points. Oh, we'll put as much as we can to that. Trade, that gives us better deals. Not necessarily that useful, or at least not that useful straight away, I don't imagine. Pathfinding, maps, cross-map travel is increased. Could be more useful later if we have to do missions that give us less time to do things. I think we probably just... let's see what else we got. trainer. Each day the hero trains adds some experience to other party members. Could be useful if we want to train up our party. Again, not that useful right now. Forager allows the party to forage for 5 food per skill level. Could actually be very useful if we don't want to spend money on food. I think we'll just improve athletics and shield again up to its max, and then maybe put a point into something else. Maybe even something like Power Strike, which just gives us extra melee damage. It could be useful. Power Draw increases bow damage. It might be worth putting some points into Power Draw then, if we want to use a bow. And then our proficiencies, one-handed seems like a very good thing to dump a bunch of our points into right now. And if we want to use a bow, maybe some points into archery. There we go. That seems reasonable. Right. What do we want to look like? I think we're just going to hit randomize a few times. See what we get. I don't know. Wait until I get something there I'm like, yeah, that looks good. Oh, this one. That doesn't look awful. It looks reasonable. Do you want to be a little bit older? Maybe. Maybe not quite that old, but maybe a few years on us. Maybe a different beard. I was looking for something a little bit bushier. I don't think we want mutton chops. Oh, that's a little bit better. Yeah. Got kind of this lone traveler kind of thing going on. I think that's good. We'll go for that. Done. You join a merchant and his family traveling towards Dorne's End. Green shoots of wheat, barley and oats are all around the dark soil of the rolling hills, and on the lower slopes of the snow-capped mountains, herds of cattle, urok and sheep are grazing on the summer grass. Occasionally too you catch sight of one of the great war horses that are the pride of the nobility. The land here is rich but also troubled, as the occasional burnt-out farm bears witness, a testament to the chaos the Tyrell host caused when it marched through 16 years earlier. You keep a wide berth of the forest, where desperate men have taken refuge. While passing by the burned ruins of Summerhall, the merchant declares that he's changed his mind, wanting to take his wares to Weeping Tower instead, having heard of Lyseni galleys docking at the nearby harbour. Following a long trek through the Rainwood, you finally see Weeping Town in the distance. You're exhausted by the time you find it in, where you quickly stash your belongings and go in search of a decent tavern where you can have a well-deserved dinner. According to an old blind man sitting in a corner between two buildings drinking a mug of stale ale, a kraken has been seen off the coast of Dorne and a 5-headed calf has been born, killing its mother in the process, surely an omen to be taken seriously. Dismissing the old fool as crazy, you continue towards the tavern. All of a sudden you hear a sound that stands the hairs on your neck on end, the rasp of a blade sliding from its scabbard. Okay, we're ready to fight. We've got a two-handed weapon, of course. Oh, there we go. We've got a one-handed weapon. That'll work better. And now we're being attacked. Okay, let's see if we don't die in this first one. Okay, just hold our shield up, let him attack, and then when we get an opening, we'll slice. Stay back. Just go in when he's not prepared. Try not to take any damage. Let him hit our shield. Oh, never mind. If he just miss, that'll work. Yeah, he missed. Good. Right. We seem absolutely fine. Yeah. That was nice and easy, actually. Osbert Clerk. Are you alright? Well, I guess you're alive at any rate. I'm not sure that we can say the same for the other fellow. That's one less thief to trouble our streets at night. Although the father knows he won't be the last. Anyway, let's talk more inside. There's a chill today, or I'd rather be without. The merchant takes you to his house. Once inside, he stands by the door for a while, looking at the dawn, then suddenly comes near you to speak. Now, let me explain my proposition. You seem a little disorientated. I do not know who you are or where you're from, and to tell you the truth, I do not care. I'm just a simple merchant, and if I've learned anything, it's that the merchants are the first to suffer in hard times. So I'm planning to travel to another country, peaceful and rainless, I hope. I've heard that in the free cities gold flows from watery fountains, so maybe I'll go and try my fortune in Pentos or Volantis. Anyways, I advise you, before I leave, do the same, and seek your fortune in other lands. War is sure to engulf the Seven Kingdoms now the hand has been executed, and people will be nothing more than war fodder. Poverty feeds on the weak, and the strong men abuse the sword and the lance to impose their power and control over the humble ones. In order to trade, we must pay heavy taxes in each city, sort out bandits and pirates, and pray that a local lord, ignorant and lazy, does not decide to get half of our merchandise. to fund his next feast or buy a new horse for his son. But I am getting ahead of myself. Take my advice and go across the narrow sea until a new king is crowned and anointed by the High Septon. Law and unity will remain a vulture's feasting table. So I say, seek your destiny elsewhere. You know what? I think I'll stay. War brings opportunity, and I mean to seize my chance. I'll make a name for myself. Oh, well, I suppose you're right at that. But remember this. War also brings maimed men and raped women, dead children and shattered hopes. Still, you have a certain look of ability about you. Take the silver, and remember me, should you ever make something of yourself. Well, thank you, friend. Fair travels to you. Okay, well, we have now, well, yes, thank you, game. I know about this tutorial. But yes, we have now decided we're going to stay in Westeros. Let's have a quick look at ourselves here before we move on. So, we have some equipment that we can't quite use yet because we're not really strong enough to use it. So we're just using our base cloth tunic. Might be good to get some better armor at some point. We have reasonable amount of food. We also have a few different weapons. Probably want to get rid of the rusted glaive, replace it for some sort of bow and arrow. We also don't have that much money, so we should look for a job fairly quickly. Now, I believe that he gave us some leads, a new beginning. Given by Osbert Clerk. The merchant gave you a heavy bag of silver, enough to start your own career as a sellsword merchant or outlaw, or begin the long and arduous journey towards lordship. You can strike out on your own or search the town for people who might have need of your services. Talk to Septon Garibald in the Castle Hall of Weeping Town to learn more. Okay, well, I think we'll do that next time. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please tell me in the comments. This is a kind of new thing for the channel, so if you want more, then you're going to have to tell me you like it. Also, please leave a like and leave a comment anyway, because it really helps with search ranking and it helps the channel grow. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.